I don't ever really know how to start out these videos, so I'm just gonna show off the fabulous glittery Pegasus shirt. No idea where this shirt came from, but I thought I would share that with you. Happy Monday, writers! As you can tell, I still can't edit videos because the internet is not on my side. So this is still gonna suck today, but that's okay. As I know failed to mention yesterday, this week we are doing childhood stories, whether they're entirely true or have a little bit of a fictional twist to them. So the one I'm about to read, I'm just going to call Banks, because I don't ever title things. It's mostly, all the important things are true, but there's a little bit of fiction in it because I had plans to use it for something else. So yeah, this is called Banks. When I was in first grade, my school hosted this fundraiser, and one of the prizes for selling a certain number of items was that you got to reach into this giant bag and pull out an envelope. Each envelope had a certain amount of money in it. There were a lot of $5 bills, some $10 and $20 bills, but the prize of them all was a single $50 bill hiding in the bag, waiting for someone having a particularly lucky day. Even now, $50 seems like a lot of money to me, but in first grade, man, whoever drew that $50 would instantly become the richest kid in our class of 30, maybe even the richest in the school. It would make sense for the kids who sold the most items to somehow have a better chance at pulling that coveted $50. However, that's not how the system worked. Even though I had barely sold enough items to win my right to draw cash, when I pulled my hand out of that bag, that envelope contained a crisp, brand new $50 bill. It's only fair to admit that as a child, and probably still now, I like to exaggerate everything that happened to me, so my memory of this day may not be entirely true. However, my temporal lobe tells me that the room was silent as I opened the envelope and gazed at the money in my hand. When we all realized what had happened, everyone burst into cheers, and I ran into the arm of my favorite teacher, feeling lightheaded and a little bit teary-eyed. The tears may be true. As much as I've tried to build a tough facade over the years, I've always been a crier. I recall going home that night to exceptionally proud parents, when in reality I'd merely gotten lucky at picking up an envelope, and a promise from my dad that he would take it to the bank to be deposited the next day. When I came home the next day, my dad showed me my new account book and how the lines would help me keep track of what I deposited and withdrew. I was thrilled. I had money of my own. I was almost like a grown-up. From then on, whenever money was mentioned, I would imagine my crisp, unfolded bill lying in a little safe in the bank with my name on it, waiting to be either spent or joined by more cash. In middle school, I learned that banks don't quite work that way. Deposited money essentially becomes unrepresented numbers in a database, and the cash is used for whatever the bank would need it for. If I were to head to the bank and ask for my $50, I would not be handed the same bill I deposited all those years ago. That bill was elsewhere, far away, if not entirely out of circulation. I was heartbroken. This was my first indication that if the meek, like me, were to truly inherit the earth, presumably to make it better, well, we sure did have our work cut out for us. So the only parts of that are really fictionalized is that there were about 60 kids in my class instead of 30. I still went to a really small school. And also, I don't actually remember if $50 was the highest. There might have been a $100 bill in there and two 50s. I don't know. No one got the $100 bill. I got the most. That's all I know. And then also, it was more like 6 months later by the time my dad got around to going to the bank to deposit it. But the rest of it is true. And that last paragraph is just like a character introduction because it was for this other story that I was working on. But yeah, that's my thing. I hope you liked it. And Jacob, I hope I see you tomorrow.